This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers. Well, today's some breaking news, and not particularly good news, is that the Home Office have started to restart immigration enforcement, and they've done so with a vengeance. So much for recognising frontline heroes in the coronavirus pandemic, because the Home Office has taken to targeting food delivery drivers. Yes, hello and thanks for tuning in. After a couple of good news stories in relation to the 10 years lawful continuous residence route and indefinite leave to remain, it seems like the government has decided that enough is enough of being a good person, and it's time to come down hard on immigrants trying to make their life in the United Kingdom. This is particularly dispiriting because we've heard all this good talk about the pandemic, especially from Boris and the other people, about frontline heroes and people doing their best to keep the country going. Yet there have now been some disturbing news stories about Home Office officials stopping and detaining, among others, Deliveroo and Uber riders in Tooting in South London on alleged immigration offences. I mean, these are the very same people that were actually out there putting their lives at risk. Therefore, I would urge anyone who is uncertain about their immigration status or doesn't have any to get in touch with me as soon as possible in order to try and regularise your status so that you're not arrested and detained. The facts are that the police carried out some checks on 48 bikers in Tooting within the space of 90 minutes on Tuesday, issuing a range of warnings and fines for driving matters such as driving without a licence and having incorrect number plates. These raids come just days after protesters blocked an immigration enforcement van in Glasgow and forcing the police to release people who they had arrested during Eid. I mean, that's pretty much an appalling action on the part of the Home Office given the importance of Eid. In Glasgow, residents surrounded the van with some people lying under it in an attempt to stop the Home Office callously removing people celebrating a religious festival. The police were later released the men to complete yet another embarrassing moment for Priti Patel's Home Office. It might seem to anyone with a modicum of common sense that the raids in Tooting are nothing but more than a retaliation from the Home Office to the Glasgow protest. But the police insist that these raids were carried out on intelligent-related antisocial driving. Deliveroo drivers, Uber drivers, they've been around for ages, especially during the pandemic. In fact, they were probably the only people on the roads. However, immigration officers from the Home Office were hard on hand to check the status of the Deliveroo drivers. 2 people, apparently in Morocco from India, were arrested and detained for immigration offences. Not much to show for all the effort, but they like to do it. In the face of criticism that they were unfairly targeting Deliveroo drivers and racially profiling them, the Home Office refused to back down and kept on banging on about keeping illegal migration down and deportations up, which we all know is just talk and not actually backed up by words, as you'll recall from my previous videos. And what makes this more upsetting is that whilst Deliveroo drivers and other frontline workers were celebrated during the pandemic, it's clear that the Home Office are now out in full force and actively looking to catch people who are in the UK illegally. So, with the Home Office ramping up their checks and arrests, it's vital that you act now to regularise your status in the UK. The happy times of the Home Office being quiet seem to have gone. So therefore, you need to get your house in order or your case in order, and that I can help with. Otherwise, you're at risk of being stopped, detained, and potentially removed for doing something that only a few months ago you were being praised for doing. As I say, if you have a problem or you have a query in relation to your immigration status, get in touch with me and I'll do my best to help you. I'm sorry to bring this disturbing news, but I think it's vital that people know that the Home Office are back in action and they're doing so with a vengeance and with the cooperation of the police. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.